The British public thinks that politicians rarely tell the truth and are unlikely to own up if indeed they make mistakes. A recent poll shows just how little faith people in the UK have in those they elected to represent them. So here at RT, we dispatched Laura Smith onto the streets of London to dig up the latest.
Cash for questions, selling access to the Prime Minister and, of course, MPs abusing their expense accounts, the story that just keeps on giving. All of these scandals and more have come together to undermine the moral capital of politicians and the amount of trust they're able to command with the public. A poll done earlier this year said Britons think politicians tell the truth less than bankers or real estate agents. Dr. Nicholas Allen, co-author of a new book on ethics and politics, says this creeping loss of trust goes right to the heart of the legitimacy of our government.
And there is a perception, I think, that politicians have become less honest, less ethical, perhaps, in the way they conduct day-to-day politics. If people perceive their politicians to be generally immoral and dishonest, the politicians are going to lose a certain amount of moral authority. Politicians, governments need moral authority if they're going to lead the public, lead society down quite difficult policy paths.
The times we live in demand those difficult policy paths, raising the pension age, upping taxes to pay off the deficit, everything to do with austerity. They all require real moral authority, something politicians arguably just don't have, as I found out outside their offices over there in Portcullis House.
Politicians are liars, cheats and everything else, otherwise they wouldn't be there.
With less view further back, might think that it's a group of people away from their environment, therefore they don't have very little trust in indeed.
Fits and starts, depends I think on how well they come across or how honest they seem. I suspect in general though not very much.
The government is trying to do something about it, focusing on greater transparency with money, how politicians spend and misspend cash. But Dr. Allen's findings show those efforts are falling on stony ground. Rather touchingly, all people in the UK really want is to know that when a politician says he or she will do something, they'll do it. And that could be the hardest thing of all for the political class.